I seen this TikTok about this person saying how they really don't like when people are inspired by them. They find it weird. You know the rhetoric. You know the rhetoric. You know how I go. But they don't like people being inspired by them and copying them and things of that sort. And I really believe this is maybe a young person's dilemma. I think this is a young person's mindset, and I think the older you get and the more lives you, not, I was about to say the more lives you live, but the longer you live life, the more clearer you see that there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There's a reason why the saying is I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, because baby it's already been done. And I find a lot of times that who people who act as if everyone's biting off of them, they're not even doing anything that crazy. Like, let's be 100% real right now. And a lot of the times, the things that they're saying people are biting from them are things they themselves have bit from other people. Like, I don't know. It's just like, well, let me say this too. There is a difference between being inspired by a person and biting off of a person, because people do bite. I'm not here to say people don't bite, but biting is more of stealing bar for bar. Biting is stealing bar for bar. Being inspired is taking what someone's done and doing it in your own way. That is not biting, baby. If that's biting, then everyone's biting. Biting is taking what someone has done, whether it be a body of work, a collection of work, a video, a format, a style, and doing that exact same thing. Honestly, a lot of trendy shit is biting, because you take what the trend is and you just do it exactly like that. That's biting. Or I'm just gonna use this as an example. Opium, Cardi, because I'm not in this genre, right? In this atmosphere, I can observe it from the outside. But Cardi was one of the first black people to like really popularize the alternative shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not gonna sit up here. Don't be dense. Don't be dense. We all know black alternative people existed before Cardi. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're gonna sit up here and act like all of Atlanta was alternative before Cardi, you're a damn liar. You're a goddamn liar. So the way in which Cardi turned the aesthetic of alternative into something cool, and how a lot of black people are not alternative, that's biting, because they're literally just taking his style and wearing it, and that's why it doesn't last, because it's not genuine to the person. Now, you could take the alternative style and personalize it, right? That's inspiration. But just dressing like Cardi, you're biting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's biting. That is biting. But I think younger people have a I don't know if it's like cognitive dissonance, where they think everyone is biting off of them, when in reality people are just doing regular shit. It's things there are things that have been played out and done to death, and just because a new generation of people are doing it right in their own way even, does not mean that they are biting off of you, babes. They're not biting, okay? You are not the only person. Matter of fact, you didn't even create this. It'll be individuals saying that someone's biting off of them, and they didn't even create that trend. Like, they themselves took that trend and personalized it to their own liking, and then they see someone else maybe do that and say, oh, they're biting. No, they're actually not. But I think it's so funny, because biting is only really a problem when you don't give credit, or you don't like acknowledge where you got certain things from. Like, I could never be a biter because I'm proud to tell you exactly where I got my references from. People say I remind them of Erykah Badu all the time. I sleep under a picture of Erykah Badu. Duh. Yeah, thank you. That's kind of what I was going for. You know what I'm saying? But if I was a biter, I'd be like, Erykah Badu. But I'm not no Erykah Badu. I'm my own person. No, girl, whatever. I listen. I know what I'm doing. I'm proud, but all of the greats copied their favorites. Like Prince was copying Jimi Hendrix and James Brown. Yeah, let's really get into it. Let's really get into it. But does anybody today call Prince a biter? No, they call him a legend. They call him a legend, but he was absolutely biting from Jimi Hendrix and James Brown. Like let's critically think here. That's why I think it's a young person's problem, because young people, we tend to not think as critically as we maybe should. Maybe it's because our brain is still developing. Maybe it's because we're high. I don't know. Maybe it's because our brain is fried from the internet. I don't know. But we don't critically think. And a lot of times, too, it's like I've been looking at shit where it's like, damn, like I don't know if it's because I'm really appreciating myself right now. I'm in a space right now. But it's like once you realize, I was saying this yesterday to myself, once you realize that you cannot be anybody else and your superpower really is being yourself, it's much easier to appreciate other people in the way they choose to express themselves. So even if I do feel like someone's biting off of me, the truth is they can never eat like me. Like they can't. So who gives a fuck? Like, and it's opened my eyes to be able to appreciate other people, because it's like, wow, you're actually unique people. I've really been fucking with people who are like different, and it's like, even if they're completely different from me, I can still appreciate the authenticity of it. I was gonna say I don't follow a lot of people, but there's some really bad biddies that's like a part of my generation, and they dress provocative, and they bad biddies. And even though like I might not be a bad biddy, I really appreciate the authenticity of it. Like, they're being a bad biddy in their own way, you know what I'm saying, and I'm being a bad biddy in my own way, but we're all bad biddies, you know what I mean? That's a fun word to say, bad biddy. But like, it's just made it so much easier to appreciate and to respect other people once I realize that I am myself and can't nobody be me. And that's why I'm proud to tell you who I'm copying. I don't care. What you think I care? That's another thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out who do people think they are. You got to really care to be trying to keep who inspired you and who you biting from a secret. You got to really care. I really don't care to lie to y'all or nobody else. Who is gonna pop me? Like, the only person who maybe get me to stutter a little bit is the federal government. And that's just because, when you mess with the federal government, girl, you liable to be in jail, in the hole. That's the only reason that's the only reason they might make me shudder. You know what I'm saying? But you regular biddies on the street, ain't nobody scared of y'all to be acting like they not inspired or biting off of you. Who cares about you? We have inflated egos. That's another problem. I said that in another video too. We have inflated egos. We have cognitive dissonance. We're crazy and our brains are fried. And we think we're more important than we really are. Now, that's not to say that, again, sometimes people are biting. But when people are biting, and when you just have a similar idea to somebody else. Don't do that. Don't be a lame biddy. Don't be a lame biddy. I'm trying to stop cursing too, so But don't be a lame biddy. Like, when someone is biting you and is trying to be like you and wants to be like you, and when someone is just doing something similar to you. Don't do that. Like, and if you can't determine between the two, ask yourself this: was I the first person to do this, or have people done this before me? Was I inspired by, you know what I'm saying? Did I look up inspo? Did I get on Pinterest? So before you think, oh, they're biting, is this just a common trend? Like, don't You're not the first. You won't be the last. It's okay. We're gonna have similar ideas. Sometimes and sometimes those ideas may cross paths. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean someone's biting off of you. To be quite honest with you, the people I'm biting off of, they're already famous. So if you're not famous, I promise you, I'm not worried about you. If you're not already famous, if you don't have a Grammy, if you don't have an Oscar, if you don't have an Emmy, if you ain't been on television, if you ain't been on the radio, if you ain't on tour, if you ain't been on tour, if you don't already kind of got some legacy behind you, I promise you I'm not worried about you. I got Chaka Khan, Erykah Badu, Prince, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Who else up here? The Doors. That's who's on my wall. That's who, you know what I'm saying? That's who I'm trying to bite off. I'm trying to bite off of composers and artists. Ain't nobody trying to bite off you with your 10K followers. I promise you, we not. I promise you, we not. I promise you. And even the people that I follow, or like I said, the bad biddies or whatever, I respect the authenticity. And all it does is make me want to be more authentic in my own right, because that is what makes us special. That's really what makes us special. And that's not to say that sometimes I don't feel insecure in myself. We all do, but at the end of the day, the only thing that makes us special is that we are the only one, you know? And I used to be really like paranoid about it's so crazy and foolish when I think about it now, but I used to be so paranoid about people stealing my music. So much so to the point where I didn't even want to share it until, I don't know, something fell in my lap. Like, how is anything going to happen if I'm too paranoid to share the music? Not just because of anxieties about how it will be received, but because I was actually paranoid somebody would steal my music, like steal my songs, like take my songs and steal them. Mind you, not important. No one cares about me. Yo, like, it's foolish. Not important. Nobody cares about me. I have no legacy. I have nothing going on to where I would have to genuinely be worried about people stealing, pirating, leaking, or just taking my music. No one cares. No one cares. No one actually cares. But it's that ignorance and that paranoia and that inflated ego that thinks like, oh, they're watching me to take my... It's like, ow, who cares? Girl, nobody care. Like, nobody, to be honest, they don't even know what you're talking about. But I realized, like, because I've been posting, like, some snippets of my music recently, and I realized, or sometimes I'll just post the words, like, my lyrics, because I think they're funny. Like, I think they're funny. One of my songs, the opening lyric is, "You a cold-blooded, stone-hearted nigga, make me want to get a gun and pull the trigger." That's the opening. That's the opening to the song. That's hilarious. Real poetry, real poetic. But I realized that even if somebody took my song, like let's say somebody did steal that song, right? And then made their own version, they'll never be able to do what I do to it. They'll never be able to freak it like me. You know what I'm saying? I could actually give somebody my song with the chords, with the notes, with the riffs, and it still wouldn't sound like me, because they're not me. And that's why I don't have no shame in being inspired and maybe even biting off of people. Because the truth is, like, I could bite off of all of these artists as much as I want. It'll never sound like them. It don't matter how hard I try to sound like Erykah Badu. You think I'm gonna sing? But think about this. Do you think I'm gonna sing Erykah Badu's song better than Erykah Badu? It'll never fucking happen. It'll actually. I had this revelation like a couple months ago, but because I'm still coming into myself, right? And I'm still defining myself. And I was thinking like, bro, I could never outdo her. I could never do her better than her. Understand that. I could never do Erykah Badu better than Erykah Badu. Somebody commented in my I was on live and somebody was like, they said something. It was like something about my style, like my clothes, and it was like, or they was like, I remind them, my style remind them of Erykah Badu, something like that. And they was like, yeah, but you do it better. And I was like, no, like, but that's the thing. That's that ego shit. And a lot of people, despite what they may say, they like that. They like when people feed into their ego. But how are you going to say that how are you going to say I remind you of Erykah Badu and then say, but I do it better? How? She did it first. How? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, sometimes people don't know how to give a compliment without, trying to feed into your ego. I don't need you to feed into my ego because I respect the artist. So I don't need you to come in to make me feel good about myself. I feel good. I feel good. I already feel good about myself. So I don't need you to try to demean somebody else in an attempt to give me a compliment. I don't need all that. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, I realized like a couple months ago, I'm never gonna do her better than her. I'm never gonna sing Chaka. I'm never gonna be better than Chaka Khan at Chaka. Like I'm never gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I could be better in my own way, in my own rights, in my own voice, in my own personhood, in my own style. But I said that because I don't have no shame in copying, because I know it'll never be like her. It'll never be like, it'll still be me. Because, and I'm using Erykah Badu because that's the most common, one I get, obviously. But like, Erykah Badu is from Texas. I'm from Louisiana. That alone, and that may seem like not that important, but that alone is gonna filter out differently because she has a Houston, Texas swag to her. I got a Louisiana swag to me. Chaka Khan got a Chicago swag to her. You know what I'm saying? So my point is like, it's biting and it's not really real, because even if people bite, it'll never, you know what I'm saying? It'll never be that. It'll never be that. So be inspired, copy. Great artists steal. I think about that quote a lot. Good artists copy, great artists steal. You know what I'm saying? But people, they are not smart enough to understand what they really saying. The more you steal, the more you'll start to. I seen another post talking about that. Eventually, after all of those copies, you'll find yourself. But you should steal. Why wouldn't you steal? If you see this artist and this artist has basically perfected a formula, hello, this is math, babes. If this artist perfected this formula, you would be a damn fool to not try, to not see what the equation talking about. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to find myself on it. That's it. But a lot of young people think that people biting and stealing the whole time. It ain't nothing to steal. And then, too, but you gotta not be jealous, and you gotta take your ego out of it. Because when you jealous and you got your ego involved, you don't think straight and you don't see shit clearly. Sometimes we not even in the same field. Motherfucker be sitting there saying that you biting off of them whole time. Y'all want to do two different things in life. Y'all not even in the same network. Think about that, stupid. I hope y'all see. I gotta fix my hair. I'm redoing some of my braids, but you're not even in the same field. Like, this bitch want to be a fucking director and she want to be a model. How is she biting off you and she trying to direct films and you trying to model? That's two different industries. That's not even your competition. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't like. And then I the last thing I'm gonna say is I feel like that further separates us when we think everybody's biting and everybody and lastly, your ego is too damn big. I gotta keep reiterating this because sometimes I'm guilty of this as well. I'm completely guilty. Yes, I do think everybody bite off me too, but I also know that I ain't around nobody to bite us. I feel like real biting happens in real life. But like in real life, in real proximity, because you can only bite so much online, but real life, I think that's where the real biting happens. The motherfuckers right next to you. Watch it back. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, he ain't too big. Bitch, you ain't nobody. Relax. It's much bigger artists that we could bite from than you. Okay, calm down. Relax. Like, I'm nobody to say how you should feel about yourself, But I'm just saying, sometimes everybody needs a reality check, baby. Nobody gives a fuck. And yes, we give a fuck, but not to the extent that sometimes we think people do. You know? Every time I get sick, I realize nobody care about me. Every time. Because I'm sitting here sick, dying. You know, I mean, not dying, but you know how it is when you got the flu. It's like, oh, I can't breathe, and I can't sneeze, and I can't eat, and I can't, you know, and you just like, ah. And every time I'm in one of those predicaments, I'm like, nobody gives a fuck. Look, like, I'm in so much pain right now, and nobody cares about me. Do you ever think about people biting off of you when you in pain? Huh? You ever had a toothache? Huh? You ever gave a fuck about somebody biting off of you when you had a fucking toothache? Huh? You ever gave a fuck about somebody biting off you when you had a sore throat and you couldn't swallow without crying? You know, it'd be bigger shit to worry about. And I think sometimes as young people, our egos, our ignorance, our inflated ego, you know, sometimes we make shit into this big thing that it's not. And it's like, it's just everybody bites. Yeah. Everybody bites. That's my thing. When people be like, oh, I hate when people bite off me, and I just be thinking to myself, oh, bitch, so you must be God. You must have been here on the first day when he created the heavens and the earth. You must have been here the first day, huh? You must have been first in line when God started making birds and shit. Because, so you ain't never been inspired. I hate people like that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate people who just can't, who just is so black and white. You ain't never been inspired and you ain't never been off nobody. You ain't never been on Pinterest and you ain't never been inspired. You ain't never looked up to nobody. You just came out the pussy on 25 grown with a bunch of ideas, huh? Just stupid, you know, just dumb, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and to close this video out, I like when people are inspired by me. I remember a couple months ago when I first started going viral and people was talking shit, I was like, y'all stupid. I literally said this out loud. I was like, if you was smart, bitch, you would copy me. That's what smart people do. Smart people do bite, dummy. Bitch sitting around, and you ain't getting nowhere. Doing the same old tired ass shit. Bitch, go copy somebody else. Maybe you'll get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Smart motherfuckers bite. Smart motherfuckers cheat. I don't care, bitch. But I literally was saying it. I was like, if you were smart, instead of talking shit, you'll be asking me what I'm doing. Hello? Instead of talking shit, bitch, you'll be trying to do the same thing if you were smart. But motherfuckers, again, ego so big, they won't even put their pride aside to be like, well, wait, what? So what you be doing? So how you know? The only thing that bothers me, and I just want to get this off my chest because, bitch, it's my video. The only thing that bothers me is when people bite from, like, they're inspired by me or they bite from me, but they actually don't support me and they just, or they even talk shit. That's where I be like, oh, fuck you. Excuse my French. That's when I get like, you know, I don't really care if people bite or, you know, when you really are an inspiration, you here to inspire, and that's going to be your whole life is people doing what you do. That's just going to be the life you live. That's the life you chose. So that don't really bother me. But when I see people biting and being inspired, but like making fun of me or not supporting me, deliberately ignoring what I'm doing, but then want to go and do the same thing, I don't like that because that's weird. And I think that's kind of what classify as biting. It's like you're not giving credit, you hating on the low, you know what I'm saying? You're not supporting, but then you want to go and bite. Shucks. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't too much like that. But if you give me a little like and you give me a little support, you be like, hey, that shit cool. Hey, take it, run with it. Because whatever they do ain't going to be what I do no way. So who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? But when people are not supportive and people are quiet, but then they want to try and do it, you know, nah, I don't like that. But everybody bites, okay?